Welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a financial planning app. It's designed to let you look a few years into the future and see how your money comes in or goes out. And we got to kind of a major point of getting all the scenarios working. And then last week we added people, and this week we'll deal with the consequences of that. All right. So I did a couple things offline. I don't know. I think it's I prepare a weekly summary, and I usually put it on YouTube and on Twitch. Um, and as I'm doing that, there's stuff I can't quite resist dealing with. And the other thing was I packaged it up and gave a copy to my brother. He took a quick look, and first thing he noticed was, "Hey, I'm in dark mode and I can't see anything." So I fixed that real quick and published a new version to him. So adding colors, change the stream color to transparent when the amount is zero. I thought that was a little confusing to be green when you didn't have any money in there. And I also changed family to people. I think it's family makes you think you should enter everybody, including all your kids, and that's not really what you probably want to do. And you could have people who aren't exactly family involved too. So, I, I'm always tweaking. All right. Now, what we'd like to do this week is we have the notion that we'd like dates to depend on either, well, it's not so much your birth, but it's your age or your death day. And I think we need to do some work on how do you specify your death day. I think maybe a little slider might be more handy. Let's see, manage by month year. Well, we got part way there. Right now we just do month number, and I don't think that's perfect, but we can improve it. And then make amount overridable. Yeah, we override dates, but we don't override amounts. And we got some validation we haven't done. Multiple sections, and then into editing. I can really see that being a thing. Okay. Also, something was bugging me. Let's see if I can find which file it is. I don't know why it decides I should close all these. It's not month year, it's planetary maybe. Somewhere we compute the month year. Maybe this, I don't think that's it. Planetary possibilities. Maybe it's stream. Yes. Okay. So I noticed, well, this is the one that bugged me. So we have merge, and this is where we're saying if the date is unspecified, take the original date. If it is specified, use the new one. And we do that for the start date, and then we do it for the end date. But this code is very, very similar, right? So switch on one of the fields on newer, and then set one of the fields on newer. And I think this duplication tells me this should be somewhere else. I mean, we should be able to reduce duplication. Now, if we try to extract a method, we kind of get stuck because one's accessing one field and one's the other. Now you can do, I forget what they call them, keys, something keys, coding key, I can't remember. But there's a backslash dot and then a field name. It could get you to that, but I think that's a little awkward. It's kind of almost like reflection kind of thing. But what I think we could do is, since everything about this is about a date specifier, we should be able to put a method on there. Path, yeah, key path, is that right? I mean, I guess I don't know that I've ever, we use them when we use Swift, like if you have for each, and then you want to say ID is some field, then you do backslash dot field to get that key path or whatever it's called. All right, but the key thing is, I think that all this stuff is about a date specifier. It's not about a stream. Now, the only piece that is about the stream is the fact that it's newer.last. Also, I don't think the merge name newer helps a little bit, but I think a better name would kind of indicate we're getting changed. I don't know. I wondered about update, like update with stream. Would that imply the pane of glass thing enough? Merge doesn't do it for me. To me, it sounds like if I had two, if I had one unspecified and one specified, I would take the specified. That's not what we're doing. We're only taking specified if that's what's on top, you know. So, yeah, let me try that first. Update with. Okay, so update, and then let's name this with. Okay. And then I want to try and get this. I want to pull it over to month year. No, that's not comparable. I don't know. I think we could just put it in here. Okay, function update. We'll call it the same thing with only this is going to be a month year. Okay. Now, I don't know. Am I Now, the other thing with update is these are value objects. So we're creating a new one, which is merge. Maybe merge is still a better name. I don't know. Merge with. I'll take update with for now, but I don't know. Do you need two result values for that and return the result? No, I think we only need one because we're either returning new first or new first. So we'll store it or we'll get it. Okay. So and I don't know, do I want to regard this as refactoring? I mean, I'm extracting it into a different class. So it's kind of I don't know. It's not exactly right. Okay. Maybe this is update by. Month year has no member unspecified. Oh, I'm confusing myself, aren't I? Okay, let me back this out. Stream. What's first? Date specifier. Oh, that's the wrong class. Okay. All right. It's not month year, it's date specifier. Okay, so update with stream. The stream is okay, but maybe by is a better word here too. I don't know. I mean, that sort of says take the old and add the new. Using the keyword. Yeah, I don't think I can use it here without quoting it. I never quite know. The rules are a little funny. Like I think you can use for. So yeah, it looks like it accepts it. Yeah, update using stream does sound good. Okay, now let me pull this part. Let's go into date specifier. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is update using date specifier. Returns date specifier. Okay, I don't need that. So if we're looking at self, no, I think we're looking at using. Actually, it does sound kind of nice this way, doesn't it? Require it. Switch using. If using is unspecified, return self. And if it's a month, return using. Does that sound? Oh, another brace. Okay. So update using. So if we have the new one says unspecified, then we return the old one. Otherwise, we use the new one. That sounds right. Okay. And whoops, stream. So I should be able to say let new first equal using dot no. I guess I want self dot first update with using using dot first. That sounds awkward. Okay, let's make this required. And then I'll use stream in here. Is that going to work? Okay, so that should take out this. New first is what gets dropped into the new stream. Okay, so that should be that. Now, there are callers who are not using the word using. That's confusing. I miss IntelliJ's. Nice job on these things. Okay, revised equals original dot update using stream. According to override by. Overridden by? How would that look? original dot update overridden by stream. Original is the stream, I guess. I might keep that for the top level anyway. All right, let's see if that passes tests. And this one. Okay, so I think that's an improvement. Let's add those tests over to a date specifier. Now, amount. It's kind of these. It'll be a simpler version of that. So do we have a date specifier test? Yes. Okay. All right. This would be a good test to switch. Let's fix it first and then merge when I guess we're going to say update when values change. All right, but we want to make date specifiers. Month 10. And this is using, well, it is now. We'll discuss. Okay, and then that should be equal to month 12, and then update when value when new value is unspecified. And there's probably a better word than unspecified. Well, this is probably closer. All right, so we want the second one to be unspecified. Value 1 updated with that should be month 10. Okay, so so we've refactor stream, well, extract and move update to DateSpecifier. And then just because we're here and for the practice, let's switch this to import testing. And this becomes a struct. And this becomes @test. And we don't need that stuff. And this is equals, so this, whoops. Okay. Oh, need prints. This was not equal. Okay, and here is whoops. Okay, and if you recall, we can get the wording out by making it a little different. I think it's okay. It's just that equals relies on equatable, and it is something we implement. So honestly, if I had an object that was equatable, it really shouldn't have that warning. Oh, yeah, I should. Omitted. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder about unchanged, maybe. Omitted applies some of the. I mean, it's omitted in a sense, but. And. Yeah. Let's do that. Omitted. Don't know all day. Again. Oh, I guess you were trying to share one of those illegal website names with a dot in it. Oh, I could do it faster manually. I think you're supposed to have it for the end of each test, but let's do the experiment. A date spec. That'd be kind of handy, wouldn't it? Well, I'll make a new one. Okay. Oh, there we go. Already. Test cannot be applied to a struct. Okay. Funny though. I like your idea. Oh, I didn't put test on these. Ugh. Easy to lose. Okay, let me find unspecified. I'm sure I've used the word elsewhere. Well, this one really is unspecified. I can leave that. Okay. You keep me very honest. I don't know how long it would have been before I noticed that. Probably never until it failed for some reason. Ugh. Okay. So we added. Well, I guess we changed unspecified to unchanged. I guess that goes in quotes. Okay, good. I think that's a noticeable improvement here, and it gives us a good place for the rest. Now we'll have to do something similar for value at some point. Okay, so let's see. So what did we do? We introduced update overridden by. Oh, I guess it was using for date specifier. Okay, so now I want to let this date depending on an age thing come through. So, well, what I'm imagining is a date specifier is going to get more stuff. Where's date specifier? Okay. So one I guess another alternative is age for a particular person, and another is death date. And I don't know the best word for that, but on their death. Okay, and now this may be, I may need to do things. I may be better off if I do this first, because right now, like, how do you get from month number to somebody's age? Because we don't have anything that ties it to a particular year. We just say, so many months. So I think, I'm, yeah, I'm not sure what to do there. It seems like you would want to manage by date. I mean, month numbers just don't, we don't think about our calendars that way, really. Um, well, let's do that first. I think I'm kind of gung ho to get the people thing in business, but maybe this makes it more realistic to our situation. The funny thing is, like, we just had June 1st over the weekend, right? Suppose you did all this stuff and said May 2024, and then you come in a week later and now it's June. Is that going to mess things up? I don't know. But maybe not, because if you're going to specify things by date, time, or month, year, then maybe it started in May. Who cares? We're looking forward, but so maybe it's okay. Like, mix in persistence too, I guess. All right, so I guess we got to look at content view to start, because I think that's the thing that knows the 360. Yeah, this chart scale. Hmm. Um, so what should we be doing? I think the domain should be month years. So maybe that's the thing to look at it. Yeah, I mean, some sort of origin date. I don't think we necessarily, well, I could see circumstances where you want to say, I'm doing I'm making my plans, and I don't want to worry about if it takes me 2 or 3 months that, every time I go in, it's different. So I could see a situation where you'd want a given date, but current date seems like a reasonable choice too. Um, all right. So yeah, where's that going? So project, let's go look at that. Boy, he has it easy, doesn't he? Okay, scenarios map 1 through months. Okay, so I guess, yeah, we need that origin date. I mean, and yeah, probably can default to current date, but we need that somewhere. Now, I don't know who should own that. That's almost like it's almost, maybe possibilities should. He owns the plans. He owns the one. He's not owning this, but I think, yeah, let's, I guess I want to say we're going to give this a month year, like a start, plan start, or start date. And I don't know, it's kind of like bad luck to use now because you're just guaranteeing that it's some future time. Maybe that's given to us. Okay. And what are we going to ask? You give it, you want to know if it's there? I mean, that's. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's harmless to have one. Okay. Needs a current date. Yeah, well, I mean, I think our date specifier is an absolute date. Sorry, our month year. He gives an actual year, but I think that's what you need in terms of our plan. Now, I believe content view. Well, no, any test as well, but let's do a build. I think content view may be the only one that shows up. View map. Okay. Um, Content view then needs it. Plan list. Okay. Well, I think if you gave, let me pull this back out briefly. One sec. Okay. Initialize required on body. Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of putting that back out. Now everybody should be fine. Let's open month year. Okay, so I think the month number needs to be generated constantly. Yeah. Okay, so right now we have this initializer, right? I think I want to create a new one. All right, so let's get a month year in here. I want to say, given a date, you should be able to pull it out. Okay, so okay, so let date equal. I don't know how you specify these. I thought it was datetime.now. I don't want to use that, but date time. Thinking of some other language. Date. Okay. Date. I thought I tried that. I don't want the time interval. Yeah, the date components. Date formatter. Well, that's more or less okay. I can work with that. It's a one-time thing. I don't know what my default format is, but I'm guessing I can. Cannot find date format. Okay, so we don't have that constructor yet. Value of optional date must be unwrapped. Okay, so there is a default for date formatter and I'm not meeting it. Okay. Well, that seems. Yeah, I probably just want to be specific. Oh, what's this one? medium. Found nil. Oh man. Yeah, maybe I'm better off doing this. Huh. Well, no, I don't need the days. Oh, yeah, you're right. Of course, it's not working anyway, but. Why not? Date formatter dot date. Date question mark. Date format. Oh. Probably help if I use the one I went to the trouble to create. Good. Okay. That's the hard-coded values I put in here for default. Okay. So, I don't know a good way to get that then. Oh, date must have it. Must is such a bad word, isn't it? Really? I don't want string values. Work with dates in Swift. That's promising. Date components. That initializes it. Can I get from date to date components? the year from date, you can use this. Okay. More work than I thought. Oh, huh. It had the. Oh, now this is a good question. Well, I assumed it was zero based, but maybe it doesn't make sense to be. I mean, I'm wrapping it up in this type. I don't know if other things will fail. Well, mostly nobody cares. The only use, the components will care. Let's find our date picker. Actually, something should care. Date specifier view. What else we got? Whoa. What was our component for that? Okay, yeah, this thing. Somebody, it creates a month year. I think this has got to be +1. Well, no, date specifier month doesn't know anything about it yet. It's really the question of are we zero based or one based? And Swift seems to want it to be one based, or at least date formatter does. But everything so far has been zero based because we want January to be the zero. So let's get BB. Okay. So if I take 2000 January, it should list it as 2000 January 2000. I don't know. Maybe the month should come first. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay. No, I don't know if that's the +1 I just put in that screwed it up. What's the tag? Well, I guess month year view, right? Yeah, well, no, let's get one thing done. Okay, so let me run that again with the +1 out of there. We should be able to see the right dates on things. Okay, so add a people, add a person. All right, if they were born January 2000 and they died December 2051. Okay, let's make it round so I can keep it in my head. January 2000 to December 2050. January 2000, December 2050. How is that working? Yeah, it's the strings representing months. So I don't know. Did I tag it? Where did the value come from? Month year view has both. Okay, so each one is a picker month number. Tag is month index. I don't get it. Well, okay. So I think what's going on is everything we have that cares what the month number is assumes it's 0 based, except the date creation, because it took the date from the Swift date, which is 1 based. Is that a problem? Because clearly January, this index 0 is the tag that gets put in. Update values. Let's go make sure that does that. Yeah, it just takes that number. And that's 0 to n. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. It just seems like a warning shot from Swift that, like, you're going to be fighting me all the way. But I guess these are our things. Okay, so let's change that test. Okay. And well, another way would be right. Okay, the test should fail until I take the 1 away. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to put my rare comment. Okay. And, well, oddly, yeah, over here it knows which one. So we get a little more support from the environment than I thought. Okay, so we can go jump right to it. This is 9. All right, let's go to months here. And this is -1. Okay, so let month year initialize from date. Okay. And then, right, that seems okay. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Let's make sure description is what we expect to. Oct 2016. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to get away from month year being nullable. I mean, if you wrap in a date specifier, it's not. Okay, so this test makes me feel better that you know, human readable version here and here align. Okay, so okay, now the month year view. I don't know why I said month year and then I put them in the order year month, but it does seem kind of weird. Yeah, that seems much better. Okay, January, December 2010, which would be arbitrarily. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now, all right, now let's go back in and push it from the top. So we had Fume app up here somewhere. Okay, so this is, that's what I want. Date. Okay. And I'll move this up. Do I want to say start date? I think I do. Okay. Now that doesn't change anything at this point. All right, but, well, I guess the question is it better to work in months and display in month years, or is it better to work in month years? Well, I guess I want to say project is, I want to give it a date and a number of months. Is that better? Everything is depending on the month number at this point. Which we can run them in parallel, but at some point, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is probably easier to have a single one. But somebody needs to know the date, right? I just don't know who yet. But I think project should. Who knows the people? Was that possibilities? No. We just have people as a free hanging thing. Up here. Okay, so let's go down to where the things get tricky. So somehow in a stream, we're going to come in here and there's going to be a date specifier is Joe, age 67. And to interpret that, we're going to need to know the date as well as Joe's birth date. And that's where it gets funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can definitely count with them. Yeah, I mean, if you want to add months, divide by 12, modulo 12, and you're there. But when somebody comes in here for the stream and they say, okay, this thing only lasts till this person's birthday, or it starts at this person's birthday. Like, do we have to know that now? Well, let's go to stream view. I got a lot of views here. So somehow, like right now, oh, this is just the outside. Create stream. We have the amount and a date specifier view. Yeah, that's the thing that's going to change. It's right now, if it's empty, we treat it as unchanged. But I think am I having a build problem? Start date. Value type date to expected argument type month year. Oh. Well, content view. Right, but they need to know the date to do it. Well, month year doesn't, but date specifier does. I mean, somebody has to say, "Hey, date specifier, Joe, age 67. What month or what year or what month year is that?" And we don't. I mean, date specifier can't know. I guess if you gave it a month year, it could figure it out. And it's kind of windy. We do this too. I don't know which end to push from either. And I think we have a month number. This is that. Okay, different from month year. Okay, well, I guess the choice is either push it from the UI down or push it from the scenarios up. And when is the problem? The problem is when you're computing a stream, you want to know the amount for a month number. It could be multiple things. But I'm guessing you would need to know the date to work that out. Well, more than that, right? You'd need to know the people. So where does date specifier get the month count from? That really comes like when you specify a month. Yes, it should. Does Where do we leave that? Let me just run. Yeah, right now we just type in a month number, but it really should use a date picker there. And really it should be a date specifier view that lets you select. I'm leaving it unchanged, and this is why I wish I had radio buttons. Leave it unchanged, use somebody's age, use a month and year. Month number is just odd. Not impossible, not unheard of, but odd nonetheless. Okay, so maybe the interface should do that, and maybe it's easier to start there. But as soon as I add it to date specifier, it affects the back end, so that's not so good. Update using date specifier. Okay, so what I'm claiming, and I don't know how we're going to make this come together, it means I have to pull in people information and date information, but you need that to do the computation. So it's not like it's a weird coupling, but it is a coupling. Okay, so let's get to a date specifier. All right, equatable update when values change. Okay, so I'm going to add something. Expect date specifier dot month 3 is not equal to date specifier dot age Bob 67. Is that fair? Well, I think it's the date specifier is different. It may represent the same date. You know, if Bob was 66 and 9 months or 10 months or something, and then month 3 comes in. Okay, so let's add this and see the consequences. String and int, and this really is an int because it's an age. Okay, now update. Well, we need a test for this. Well, no, I guess I don't. Okay, and I'm going to make a test that fails that too. Update when value changes. Maybe I want to say age changes. Update values. Maybe age changes is enough. Okay. So we haven't fixed, well, equals comes for free because it's an enum. Switch must be exhaustive. Okay, who else? All right, let me. Let's get age equatable and update. Age stream view. Okay. All right, so this one is in DateSpecifier. All right, and these, we're going to put the case in. But for now, I'm going to return money, and I think even -1, just something to be there for now. And then stream view, format month. That feels like we can move that over to date specifier. Case dot age. Okay. Now what else we got? Oh, start date. Well, I don't see why this shouldn't call make possibilities. I don't see why any of these shouldn't, honestly. Okay. This is that signature shielding. Not sure what that's about. Hopefully the rest of it fixes that. All right, is that a good failure? Yes. Okay. All right, so we want this to be treated the same way as the others. So date specifier, I don't know, maybe unchanged is the only case. This should return using. I don't know, how do I do this? Is it like .h for the ones that take it, or say case again? Okay, so we introduce DateSpecifier.age, make update work with it. Okay, so that's okay. Now what was the other one? This stream view, format month. I mean, this to me looks like, I think it's always a little ambiguous as to whether, how far to go in printing out the names of things and whether that's strictly a UI function. But I don't know, it feels like this is working completely on date specs stuff. So let's pull it over there. Date specifier. Keep losing it. There it is. Okay, so this should become description. Whoops, this. And then that. Well, we don't need a routine for that. Let's just inline that. So this was stream.first. I think we can do it like that. And we'll need, well, we didn't have tests on it when it was in the UI field, but now that it's here, it's very obvious it needed a test. Okay, so if we make one salary, 3,000 with whatever, month 10 and leave the other one empty. Okay, so it's still printing things the way it was. So it does implicitly call that description object or method. All right, so let's make sure we add a test for that. Okay, and then I think we've done these minimally. Add age to date specifier. Okay, so let's take a break. We'll come back and do this test real quickly, and then move on and figure out the others that needed this information. Continue working from the back end towards the front end, I guess. All right, see you in 3 or 4 minutes. Welcome back. All right, test DateSpecifier.description. We got here's date specifier over here. All right, and then a date specifier. Huh. Okay, I guess that'll work. Maybe this is enough. Okay, so let's expect this is this. I might change that too. I don't know why I picked Bob. And this should be Bob, comma? Bob at 72. Or Bob 72, maybe? At 72? Yeah, let's do that. All right, this should fail. Okay, the other thing I'm thinking is maybe this should say unchanged. All right, I think I can trust myself to do this. Okay. If I leave it, it should say unchanged. And if I put one, it should have the number. Unchanged to 330. Yeah. I think that'll be a slight improvement. Okay, so we added a description to date specifier. All right, now. Okay, so stream. Let's start closing things and see if I can get down a little bit. Okay, so age. Right, so here's where we get, this is where we actually need the age. Yeah, how does he get the birth date? And this is, the question is like, well, I guess it comes down to how do I want to couple these two things? If I'm saying every date description potentially has somebody's birth date, it involves somebody's birth date, and well, then how do I know what that birth date is? So when I create it, I reference somebody's birth date. That's into our persons thing. Does persons have to be there for every kind of thing that gets created? What if somebody creates a person, sets their birth date, changes their name, or changes their birth date, and the age changes? How's anybody going to find that out? You know, we got to make sure that all flows through. What I think will need to happen is, if you're asking me for the amount in month number, I don't know. I think you're going to have to tell me, you're going to have to give me access to the people in this case. Now, does that pass the smell test? Well, I need to know the start date. No, do I? Not yet. I do need to know the people so I can look up Bob and get his birth date and then calculate forward to what month number is that. And to do that, I need the start date. So yeah, it seems like I need people and start date. Right, we need a global map. Now we could, so that assumes we're figuring this out when we're calculating amounts. We could also say, when I generate possibilities, maybe I'm going to go through my list of all my streams that I've described, and I'm going to substitute in the month number for the birth date. And to do that substitution, I need to know the start date and all the people. And also, depending on whichever way you do it, there's that chance that how will we make sure we don't get out of sync if there are changes? And so the downside of that is, if I create my streams and I reference people and then I change the people, I've now invalidated potentially some of these values. Now, if I change their birth date, it doesn't affect it because I calculate it later. But if I change their name, it does. And we have a global map. We have a people object that knows all this. It used to be called family, but I changed it over the weekend. Sorry. So we do have this, and that was in our state for Fume app, is the list of people. Well, where we got to. Right now, all we do is keep track of them. You can add them. We can't even edit them yet. All right. So, I don't know. Does it all come to stream? To get the amount in a given month, this is either month 7 or month 2024/10. I think I'm going to have to know those people. I guess another alternative is when I put them in another alternative is we put the person in the stream, in the date specifier instead of the name. So right now I'm using name as a key. It'll go look up those things. We haven't built that yet, but the idea is that I could instead put the person in, which would have the year and all that stuff together. Would that be better? I don't know. You give me a person and their age. I guess then if you knew, maybe that's the thing to do. Let's, because I don't want to keep the people map. I don't want to involve it here. Like I had to pass it in or else make it a global, which is even worse. But the person has the information. What's my name? What's my birth date? Actually, the birth date's the only one I care about for age. Or I could just have the birth date, right? That would be, yeah, person's a value object. It's got to be up to date in the stream. So we would see this is where a value object is trickier, right? Because each one, the one in the person array, the one in any stream, a different one in a different stream, they're all three different objects at that point. And there's nothing that ties them together other than, well, temporally, they got created at some point and they're made the same object, but otherwise not. I mean, I guess when I display this thing, well, no, it's not here. When I display it the way we just did, I said Bob age 67. Well, where am I getting those numbers? I'm assuming I get Bob somewhere. If I have the whole person, I can say that. If I don't, I can't. All right, so I don't know. So in terms of the timing of things, what'll happen is they'll create these people and then they'll have a drop down for age and we'll have a list of people right there. And those persons, they'll select one and put it in their thing, and that's that. Now we can validate it later. If we detect a change in the people objects, we can go through and check that everybody's still legit. That person is still the right one. So maybe that's, let's see, where's description? I have to put the front in. Date specifier. Okay, so instead of this string, do we want the person? Yeah, I kind of think we do. All right, let's change that. Okay, person. Now, everybody's going to break. Oh, person's not equatable. Okay, let's go back. Person is identifiable. I think I can make them equatable just by asking for it. Is month year equatable? No. Okay, is that enough? Okay. Now, person. Okay. Well, this is really person, and this is person dot name. Okay, and then the test. Right, now we have to make a person. Well, let's make private. I don't think the names matter to the test so much. Make person. I'll call him Bub. Birth. Okay. The year matters. I mean, the age matters. And we got to use the same person here. This one's a little funny. We got to know it's really Bub. Now, more stuff's going to change. Not a lot. Okay. Okay. So now age in stream, that's what got us back here. Right. So I think what has to be true okay, so we're trying to determine how much money month of stream first is first. Okay, so if the month is less than this, Well, do we have enough information, right? We don't. We know the person's birth date, maybe, if it's not unspecified. If it's not nil in this case. And, but I think we need the start date, right? Well, we need the date of this month. Yeah, we're going to have to distinguish those. So, I mean, that's going to mean there's another case up here for the beginning and then another case for the end. And this is sort of an early exit if we know the month we're asking for is before the first month. Okay, so, all right. But I think we need to know, do we need to know? Yeah, we need to know the real month here, right? Because if we want to know, is the person 67 in month 17? We don't know that unless we know what month we started at. Okay, and this is kind of the place where everything comes together. If we're going to switch to month years here, then we wouldn't need that initial date. But because we don't know the month year, so I guess maybe I should ask that. But I think the compromise is for now we're going to have to pass in the start date. I don't know. We got to do a little math based on that. Whereas if it were the current year, current date, we could compute that from the person, from the person to their date. Okay. So, excuse me, who are the callers of this? Plan leaf. And, oops. What was it one? Scenario. Right. So I don't think, where's Plan Leaf? Why does he need it? I bet you this is not needed anymore. Because we used to base our graph, like version 1, our graph was based on the plan, the possibilities. We had the tree and we would, I forget, did we take the maximum or the average or something amount if it was a alternatives node? But I'm guessing this is not needed. Wouldn't that be nice? That's the only callers? Okay. So plan tree, where's plan tree? A plan tree, plan tree. Plan tree no longer asks for it, so this can go away. Because plans don't have net values, only scenarios do. Okay, now does plan tree have net? No. Okay, so we move dead code plan leaf.net. Okay, so stream calls this plan leaf. We got rid of that scenario.net. Okay, scenario. Yeah, I mean, I think this. I'm well. I know why we did the count, and it is easier. But as you get into things involving the actual dates, it gets harder to go from the month number to the date. And in particular, we have to have the start month around to calculate it. Okay. I didn't think this was going to be quite so tricky. All right. So I guess the two choices I see, one is we can pass the start date down with the month number, and those two together give you enough information to pass to the stream. Now, I think possibilities is what always creates the scenarios, outside of tests anyway. So he didn't find it. No. Well, let's do a string search. Okay, so he creates the initial scenario and copy, makes a new one. But like scenario, does it need the date? Oh gosh. Yeah, so I guess we want to look at everybody who's passing in month numbers. Closed range of int. Months. Month. Well, this is really a month number. Okay, so project needs it. Now, months. That shows up in monthly net worth for the graph. I guess I'm wondering, like, how hard would it be to change this to a month year, and maybe a range of month years? I don't know if that's allowed. Yeah, at least for now, the start date is today's date. But if, like right now, our top level says, show me everything from 1 to 360. And we added in the notion of, I know my start date, but we haven't done anything with it really. So one thing we can do is pass that start date around, maybe put it in the scenarios, maybe have it globally available to the scenarios. But somehow the scenarios need to know the start date to get from the month number. If the start date is today, June 3rd, 2020, June 2024, and the month number is 2, then it's July 2024. And if your birthday is July 2024, now you're a year older. Um, but what I think is, instead of passing the range 1 to 360, what if I passed June 2024 to June 2054? Okay. Um, as a range of dates to calculate by. I don't know what you have to do to be in a closed range. I don't think I've ever defined my own closed range over, anything that's not ints, basically, maybe characters. But bound is comparable. Okay, so if my things were comparable, I must have to have an increment or something. Bounds relative to range. Comparable. Well, I'm interpreting this to say if I give it a comparable thing, it could produce a range for me. If you conform to stridable, which we could do kind of reasonably. Right. And so at some level, if I can get this up this range of month years, and then I'm asking for month year, now I know the person, I've got their birth date, their age times, add that to their birth year and then compare it to the current month year. It all works out. So that tells me this is like this, we'd made month number, but we didn't really enclose it too well. There are too many places that know it's integer type. Okay, so project, I'm going to find colors of that. We know possibilities. Yeah, that's the only color, right? So if our range was, well, this is another month number. Okay. And then this is really maximum month. Okay. I've changed a few names. Let me run tests and make sure I can push that. Okay. All right. And yeah, somewhere I want to make, well, I have to go back to month year and do some things on it, right? If I want it to be in a range, it has to be comparable, which is not hard and certainly makes sense. It might make sense to be stridable, because if you add n to it, we can figure out what year and month that should be. But this comes in, project could still take a number and convert it to a month year. Well, it needs the current date to do it. That's the reason I'm kind of resisting. Let's see, it's possibilities, stream, and where's scenario? Let's see if I can walk through these in a way that we can see it. Okay, so possibilities comes in with project. How many months do you want? And he turns that into a range. And then project gives that to a scenario, a given scenario. So remember, project turns our linear list of possibilities into concrete scenarios, gives each one a list of months. What months do you want to graph? And then that passes it down to net for this month, which passes it down to stream. Okay, so I think well, okay, so what I'm saying I want is I want stream to take a month year. Give it a month year. We're going to take, how much did you get in this month year? Well, he won't know month numbers anymore. He should know month years for this stuff. So maybe you're right. Maybe we should just pass down enough. If I can get everybody with the information they need to do their job, then I can start switching them back to the other style. Like we could add a month year case to this and then start migrating people to that. But the comparable thing seems right. And stridable sort of seems right. All right. So if I gave you the start date and the month number, how would that go? Well, the other thing I can do, no, I can't. They're not comparable. Oh, I was going to make an anonymous pair because I did try to make a month number type. I could make it into a pair of a date and a month and an int, but those pairs can't be comparable, so it won't fit into the closed range in the long run. So it's just not going to work. Okay. All right. So maybe what I do is pass the date down to everybody. And if you had the date and you had the month number, you could, and the person, you can compute the age and whether they fit. So that would solve the age problem. It would not solve the fact that I think we want to compute in terms of month years, though. And that'll take some twisting around. Okay, but and I think the way it is now, as sort of a refactoring, if I passed you a month year, is the start month, you should have no problem with that. Now, everybody that calls and tests and stuff like that does, but we can let them. So if I said start is a month year, callers would break. So we know scenario will break. Yeah. Okay. And I don't know how much to bubble up. Let's do one at a time. All right. So let's just say start month, year, 1/1. Okay. Clearly a bizarre month. Okay. Yeah, put the labels in if it makes you feel better. Okay. Now, that means that fixes that code. Okay, but I got to keep track of them. Scenario.net .net needs the real month year. Okay, but I think it lets us stream can do its thing. Create a new function and add months to the month year that you passed the original. Yeah, I'm not sure. Right. So maybe that would be a better approach. Actually, I think I want to pass. So if I have the current month year, is that enough to answer my scenario question? Right, the birthday. I take the month year plus the month number. That gives me a sort of current date. And then their birthday is a month year, I think. Yes. Their birthday's a month year. Okay. Let's see. If I knew the month year, the current month year, no, the month year I'm projecting to, is that enough information? I can't keep coming back to that. I know it's January 2050, and I know you were born in this date because I've got your person, so I can answer whether you're older or not than that. Okay, so let's pass current. Okay, add months to month year. I don't think I have to add months to month year. I think if I knew this is like the current month in month numbers, if I knew the current month in month years, I would be okay, right? And then well, it's really like 4, which I think this is another one. I can maybe use this as a name for this purpose. Yeah, but well, they can only calculate that if they know the start date. I think where we want to go is this should be all computation should be in terms of this. Now, I can't calculate this in terms of that without knowing the start date. But if it came in as a month year, then I could. So, I think this is the thing we need to do it in parallel. I don't know, I'm going to call it current month year. Maybe projected. It really is 4. Okay. So, yeah. So I think doing this, this is my way to get this thing passed down, right? So I think it's a reasonable thing to do. I don't know if you exactly call it parallel change. Yeah, I mean, parallel change would be having an amount function that took just the month year. I'm going to do it more like I'm adding arguments and then I'll peel them away as I get rid of the need for them. Okay, so if I do this here, then scenario needs to call for. Now, this should not break any of these, but it's going to break tests that rely on the month, that don't have the month year, the for value. Okay, but no real code. Okay, so this, I'm going to make for month year 1 2020. Okay. Month. Missed one. Okay. These should be okay. Now, to this notion of a function that can get between them, I think is reasonable, though. But I'm going to put off age until I get the data passed down. So this, I don't know the right name for this. Not parallel change. It kind of is a parallel change, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good name for it different than parallel change, but it's definitely a pattern to say, like, find a way to get, if you need more information, find a way to get from where it is passed down to where you are. And the way we're doing it is start at the bottom and pretend we have it, and then we'll work our way back up until somebody passes the real one. Okay. So we are added month year argument to scenarios project. Oh, net. Okay. And then at some point well, it won't be today because we only got 7 minutes, but presumably tomorrow, we will get the right value coming in and then switch the computation to use the new right thing. What that will probably be is get rid of month number as a date specifier. And to your earlier point, like, we really should be doing a selector, a date selector for that. Okay. So that got it into scenario. And now scenario doesn't know the month year. Okay, so, well, I can do this. There's a better way too. So do this for month year equals this. For 4, I don't know. That. Yeah, 4 is not a good choice. And maybe I should take it out of stream too. let's say current, or how about cursor? Because really this is while you're sliding along. Okay, nobody references it there. Scenario, let's call it cursor is month year, and we'll get a better name. Okay, so oh, all those guys, yeah. I'll probably change it to month in the end. Internal name for cursor. Yeah. People use of. Maybe that would be better. Let's try that. Oh, come on. Is that a reserved word too? Of cursor. Let's make this one of. And then those tests. Incorrect label of month, expected cursor. Well, I think you're not caught up. Right. Okay, and then getting up in scenario, now so instead of months, I need a closed range of month years. All right, and we know month year can't be must be comparable. And scenario dot project needs range over month year. Okay, is that? Oh, and we are comparable. Okay. Then we got a minute to do it, but we'll do it. Okay. Of month, no. Range, closed range of month year equals is there an empty or something like that? It's building. Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, so this, all right, so now I have range months for each. Oh, too bad. Range to lower bound. Okay. Now that should build. All right. I'm not going to worry about it because this part's not going to get passed in. It's just there temporarily while we get things flipped around. But this is the wrong value coming in. But that works. But now, depending what people do, I suspect there's a test that will not like this. More than one test. Okay. Yeah, every test for net does not like this. Okay, so let me go back and do that. All right, so our to-do is, that's already comparable. Scenario.net needs the real month year. Yeah. Okay. And I think our tests will mostly need to pass one in. Most of them don't care. Basically, none of them care right now because they don't really use the real. They're just using it to get a value, not looking at it seriously. Okay, but that's where we'll do. Yeah, thanks on the Control M though. Yeah, there's a lot of tests that are breaking from that, aren't there? But that's kind of what they are testing. I mean, a lot of this is testing. Do you get the right values when I give you arguments? So, okay, so we're leaving things green. Well, we know how to get a bunch as soon as we try and touch scenario.net. The trick is, can I get, I don't know, I'd like to find a way to not break all those things, but basically I can leave it as an optional argument and add the new month year and it won't break. So I guess I'm okay. Tomorrow should be one word. All right. Well, thanks for joining today. I thought we'd be working on something different, but I think moving this thing to real month years, and our graph will say, 2024 to 2054 or whatever the year range is. I think that will be a good thing. And there's reasons we wanted simple month counts, but I think we'll get it away from that. The use of age and death dates and all that stuff is going to make that insufficient. And I guess I wish we had worked that out sooner and not had so many tests that relied on the month numbers per se. But I don't think they'll be hard to fix. All right. See you tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern, 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.